Hey everyone, welcome back. We're diving into something I bet you're already thinking about a lot. How to make your school's special ed program the best it can possibly be.
Always on our minds, right?
Exactly. And in all that research and brainstorming, you've probably come across this name, Upadhyaya.
Yeah, he's been popping up everywhere.
He's not just another expert throwing ideas around, though. People are saying this guy's got some serious game-changing insights, especially when it comes to a challenge every special ed program faces: student attendance.
Absolutely. Attendance is key, and Anu's been making waves with the talk that has special ed administrators buzzing.
That's what we're digging into today, why Anu is generating so much buzz, what's so different about his approach, and more importantly, what can you take away from it to help your own school?
The big aha moment for a lot of folks, it's the link he's made between student attendance and, you guessed it, funding.
We've got this excerpt from one of Anu's recent presentations, and right off the bat, his background is impressive.
Oh, for sure. He's not just an armchair theorist.
He's been in the trenches, teacher, administrator, even worked at the state level,
So she's seen it all.
from all sides. What's really striking is how he's worked in such diverse districts, everything from small rural schools to massive urban ones.
That's so important because it means he understands the challenges that administrators face across the board. No matter what your school looks like, he's been there.
And on top of all that experience, he's got this deep background in data analysis.
So he's not just talking the talk, he's crunching the numbers to back it up.
Right. Which brings us to the heart of the problem he's tackling: chronic absenteeism among special ed students.
This is huge, right? I mean, we all know it impacts student success, but it also has a major impact on a school's bottom line.
Absolutely. Fewer kids in seats can translate to, well, less money for those crucial resources and support staff that special ed programs rely on.
It all comes down to those state and federal funding formulas. A lot of them are tied directly to attendance numbers.
IDI is probably the most familiar to our listeners.
Yeah, and it's a prime example of how attendance can affect funding.
Okay, so we've got the problem laid out. Now, what are Anu's big strategies for actually turning things around?
Well, he digs into a lot of different approaches, but I think there are a few that really stand out for administrators.
Yeah, like the emphasis he puts on engagement initiatives.
It makes sense, right? If kids feel connected and valued at school, they're more likely to want to be there.
It's not just about getting them through the door, it's about creating an environment where they feel like they belong.
Exactly. And this is where Anu's experience in all those different districts really comes into play.
Because what works for one group of students might not work for another.
Exactly. He really stresses that there's no one-size-fits-all solution. You've got to know your students, know your community, and design initiatives that speak to their unique needs and interests.
I remember reading about a school he worked with that had amazing success with a peer mentoring program.
Oh, yeah. They paired up special ed students with general ed students who had similar interests, and it created this incredible sense of belonging and support.
Exactly. It wasn't just about academics, it was about building friendships and social connections.
That's powerful stuff.
And that's just one example, right? Anu's got a whole toolkit of ideas for boosting engagement.
And then there's the whole piece about family support, which is something administrators can sometimes overlook.
It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day of running a school and forget that, sometimes there are things going on outside of school that are affecting a child's ability to show up.
Absolutely. It's not always about a kid just not wanting to come to school. There might be transportation issues, maybe healthcare needs aren't being met, maybe the family is just feeling totally overwhelmed by the whole system.
And sometimes just having the school reach out and say, hey, we're here for you, what can we do to help, can make a huge difference.
It sends the message that the school sees the family as a partner, not just someone to blame when a kid misses class.
Right. It's about building trust and understanding.
And that's when you can start working together to figure out solutions that really work for everyone.
And this is where Anu's data expertise comes in again, right?
Definitely. He's all about using data to identify attendance issues early on before they become chronic problems.
He encourages schools to track not just overall attendance numbers, but to really drill down and look at individual student data.
Are there certain days of the week when a particular student tends to be absent? Are there patterns related to specific subjects or teachers?
That's where you can start to see those red flags and step in with some targeted interventions.
Exactly. It's about being proactive, not reactive.
He talks about how even something as simple as a phone call home to check in with a family can make a big difference.
Or maybe it's connecting a family with resources in the community, that can help with transportation or other needs?
The key is to use that data to understand the individual circumstances and tailor your response accordingly.
Makes sense, right? Because there's rarely a one-size-fits-all solution.
One of the things that struck me about Anu's work is how he combines this really data-driven approach
Yeah.
with a deep sense of empathy.
Yeah, it's not just about numbers, it's about people.
He really gets that administrators are dealing with complex human situations, and he provides tools and strategies to navigate those situations effectively.
And he's not afraid to get into the nitty-gritty either.
He actually provides specific examples of the kinds of data schools should be tracking, the questions they should be asking, the resources they should be tapping into.
It's like he's giving you a roadmap.
And the best part is, he's not just throwing this information out there and walking away. He actually wants to connect with administrators directly, help them put these ideas into practice.
That's amazing. I mean, how often do you find an expert who's that accessible?
I know. He even gave us his email address to share with our listeners. It's anu.upadhyaya@luricare.com.
So anyone listening who's intrigued by what we've talked about today can reach out to him directly.
Absolutely. It's not every day you find someone who's so passionate about helping special ed programs thrive.
And who has the experience and the data to back up his claims.
Okay, so as we wrap up, I will leave you with a challenge, all right? Think about your own school, your own special education program, and ask yourself this.
This is the big one, right?
What's one small step, even a tiny one, that you can take today to start improving attendance and make sure your program is getting the funding it deserves?
Could be something as simple as reaching out to one family that's struggling or taking a closer look at attendance data for a particular grade level.
It's all about those baby steps, those small actions that build momentum and lead to real change over time.
It's all about understanding those root causes and tailoring solutions to your students and families. There's no one-size-fits-all answer, but Anu's work provides a great roadmap.
Absolutely. All right, everyone, that's it for today's deep dive. Keep exploring, keep learning, and we'll catch you next time.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.